What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Dad's That Cook. I'm here with Brian and Abigail. Brian's going to be working the camera. Abigail's going to be helping me out. And today we're going to be making a calzone. I often get asked by a lot of my friends, how do I make the things that I make? So this is going to be a whole show about how I do the different things that I do. So I have one store-bought pizza dough that's been rising for a little bit. Normally what I do with my pizza dough is I either make it the night before and I let it rise for at least a full day, or when I buy it from the store or from a pizza place, I let it sit out on the counter for a couple of hours so it gets nice and pliable and I can move it around real good. Another technique that I use is I use some cornmeal, which is gives it that little bit of consistency and that little bit of crunch. So I'm going to pour some cornmeal out on the counter. You don't have to go nuts with it, but you just want to make sure you have enough to cover it. I'm going to get my pizza dough. I'm going to put it down once, and I'm going to flip it over. I've had my pizza dough sitting in oil. What I do is I start to just work it around a little bit, start to move it out, play with it a little bit. Right, Ab? Come on in, Ab. What do you think, Ab?
I think it's really good.
It looks good?
Yeah. It smells good too.
Smells good too, right?
Yeah.
So because I'm making a calzone, I'm just going to get a nice, even, round piece of dough. Make sure it's not sticking. Once it's rolled out like this and I have a nice round dough to work with, then I can start to put my toppings in. All right, let's cut the video and we'll come back with some toppings. All right, we're back, and through the magic of video and television, I'm all prepped out and ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little water and I'm going to take a brush and I'm just going to go right around the edge of the dough. This is going to help when I cinch everything together and make sure that it doesn't open up when it's cooking. So I'm going to go all the way around, making sure I don't go crazy, but I get it a little wet all the way around the whole side of it. Okay, now that I have that done, I've prepped a couple of ingredients and things that I'm going to put inside of it. The first thing I did, and we'll do a whole nother show on how to make Sunday gravy and how to make some nice red gravy. I got a little ham. I put it in a pan. I just sauteed it a little bit and got a little brown on it, which brings out the flavor. I took some ricotta, or as some people call it, ricotta, and I added an egg to it and some cheese. And then I just whipped together an egg, because at the end I'm going to baste the whole thing with an egg and it's going to make it nice and brown. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little sauce down. Just even it out. You don't have to go crazy. Abigail, you want to help me?
Yeah.
Why don't you put some of that on there and smooth it out.
Okay.
Just use the back of the spoon and smooth it out. Nice.
Daddy, it looks like
some over here.
looks like pizza.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a pizza. You know what we're going to do? This is basically a pizza that we're going to fold it in half.
Oh, like a taco.
Like a taco, yep. Here, let me grab that back from you.
Okay.
It's a taco pizza. All right, now that we have that sauce on there, we're going to put some cheese. You want to help me with the cheese? Put your hand in there. Don't eat it.
I will.
Once it's on here, we're going to spread it all around.
I have no more.
I like a lot of cheese, so we got to be liberal with the
Wait,
cheese.
Daddy, can I help you?
Sure, spread it out. And then you know what we're going to do?
What?
We're going to put some more cheese.
What? How many bags of cheese are we using?
I'm going to get my ricotta, my ragout, and I'm going to put some of that on here.
I don't really like that.
You don't like that?
No.
Well,
Well, I've never tried it. I just
what
know.
do you don't like it, but you've never tried it?
No.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'll just try it, but I know I will.
All right, then we're going to do some more
What?
cheese.
Is that like a layer of cheese and then you go more ricotta, more cheese, and more ricotta, and more cheese, and more ricotta?
Yep, and then I'm going to put the ham that I put in my pan, and I'm going to make sure I spread it nice and evenly around.
Daddy, what about this side?
Well, that side's gonna flip over and go on top.
Ah.
So we'll do that. I always make sure I like to put a little bit of the grease in there. Makes it taste better. A little helpful hint. What do you think? Some pepperoni in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's throw
We're
some
better
pepperoni.
together.
Another little hint. I use turkey pepperoni. Has a little less fat. Tastes exactly the same. The kids love it. And it cuts down on a lot of that grease. I use it for my pizzas too. I would like to try some.
Yes, please.
All right, we'll finish off with a little more cheese.
Oh, Daddy, how much cheese are we using? Oh!
We're gonna use it all, babe.
Daddy, so we're using all the cheese we have.
We're all out of cheese. Break that up. All right, do that. We're all ready to go. You ready, Ab?
Oh, wait. Oh, yes, no, yes.
We're gonna flip that over.
Whoa! It's like a taco. It really is.
Once we flip it over, we're just gonna wrap up the sides of it. I'm gonna do this part, babe, okay? And we're gonna wrap up the sides and we're just gonna roll them in.
That's so cool. It actually does look like a taco, doesn't it, Dad?
Looks a lot like a taco.
Yeah. It's like a pizza, half sandwich, taco.
Make sure you roll it nice. It's gonna wanna leak out of there, so you gotta make sure you get a nice roll on it.
So when we take it out, it's gonna be
All right, Brian, why don't you come in and check out how that looks? Well, we're getting a close-up on that. All right, Brian, we're gonna take a little canola oil. We're gonna spray it on the pan, this way it doesn't stick. All right, a little tricky here is you kind of work your fingers underneath, pick it up and move it over. Make sure that roll on that dough is nice. Give it a little pat down. Make sure the geometry's right on it. All right, now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a knife and I'm gonna put some vents in the top. That's gonna let the heat come out and it'll make it so that it doesn't ooze out the sides of it. Once we do that,
Daddy, when
Yes,
it
Ab?
rises up, like will the stuff inside come out?
it's gonna bubble out and it's gonna be delicious. And some of it's gonna fry on the pan and that's gonna be the best part.
Oh, okay.
So I took an egg, I beat it, and I took out some of the egg white and I left it a little bit heavy on the yolk. And I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna brush that over the entire thing.
Can I help with that part?
All right, I'm all finished up putting the egg on. And if you can see that, Bri, if you can zoom in on that, it's what it looks like now. So now that it's all set up like this, I'm gonna take my pan. I have a 350 degree oven that I've had preheating, and I'm gonna throw this in there and probably gonna put it in for about 45 minutes or so. Okay, we'll be back when it's done. Welcome back to Dad's That Cook. I've had my calzone in the oven now for about 45 or 50 minutes. I actually, just to give you a little tip, I keep checking it throughout. I want to see how brown it looks. I like it to be a little more well done. So towards the end, I kick up the temperature just a little bit so it gets that nice brown on the outside. Let's take it out. Oh, and as you see, it's nice and brown. The cheese is bubbling up out of it. It looks delicious. Let's bring it over here to the counter. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wait probably about 10 or so minutes, let it settle in, and then it'll be ready for eating. So that's our first episodes of Dad's That Cook. Thanks everybody for watching, and hopefully you'll check out our next video.